Welcome to a space unlike any other. If you're here, it means something deep inside you is ready to wake up, ready to remember what the world made you forget, that you are the creator of your reality, that you are not a victim of circumstance, that your imagination is not a fantasy. It is the blueprint of your future. In today's message, inspired by the timeless wisdom of Neville Goddard and reimagined for today's dreamers, doers, and conscious creators, we will reveal one truth so powerful it will challenge everything you've been taught. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. Together, we'll dive deep into the sacred mechanics of manifestation. We'll explore the truth that has been whispered through generations, that the state you assume in consciousness becomes the world you walk in. So take a breath, silence the noise, and prepare to return to your power. If this message resonates, don't forget to subscribe and join this growing movement of awakened minds. And if it touches your soul, share it with someone you love, because this kind of truth was never meant to be kept. Now, let us begin. You were never meant to chase. You were never meant to strive endlessly for what already belongs to you. You were meant to remember. The moment you begin to see your life, not as a random series of events, but as a perfect reflection of your inner state, everything begins to shift. Because here's what no one told you. Your world is yourself pushed out. It is not happening to you. It is happening through you. It is not being controlled by others. It is being shaped by your own inner assumptions, beliefs so natural, so deeply embedded that you forgot you were choosing them. Every limitation you see in your bank account, in your relationships, in your body, in your future, is not a punishment. It is simply the echo of an old state of consciousness, a mirror held up by the universe to show you what you've accepted as true. And yet, the moment you dare to assume a new identity, a new inner state, the mirror must reflect something new. This is not philosophy. This is not wishful thinking. This is law, the law of assumption, the law that states whatever you assume to be true with feeling and persistence must become your reality. You do not manifest what you wish for. You manifest what you feel as real, and that feeling begins in your imagination. Not the imagination they taught you to treat like child's play, but the sacred imagination, the divine creative power within you. The same imagination that built cities, wrote symphonies, healed hearts, and carved empires from nothing. That imagination is your link to the fourth dimensional world, the unseen dimension where all things already exist. Your future is not ahead of you, it is within you. It is waiting for you to assume it and then live from it. But here's where most fall asleep again. They affirm a new reality in the morning, and by evening they're reacting to the old one. They say, I am wealthy, but feel lack. They say, I am loved, but feel abandoned. They say, I am successful, but fear failure. And so their words are hollow. Their assumptions are divided. Their world reflects contradiction. Because your reality does not respond to your words. It responds to your state. What are you being today? Not what are you hoping? Not what are you chasing? What are you being? The world you walk in is a perfect expression of that answer. When you look at your current reality and say, this is just the way it is, you're not seeing the truth. You're seeing the after effect. You're looking at the smoke and forgetting the fire that created it. The fire is your state of consciousness. The world is simply the smoke. So if you want to change the smoke, don't chase it. Don't fight it. Don't try to rearrange the outer world. Go within and change the flame. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and do not let it go. This is not pretending, this is not forcing, this is being. If you could only understand this, truly understand, your entire life would shift. You would stop asking how. You would stop looking to others. You would stop waiting for signs, because you would realize the sign was never outside of you. You are the sign. And here's the deeper truth that even many seekers miss. The moment you fully occupy a new state, a new inner identity, the entire universe begins to bend in your favor. Not by accident, not by magic, but by divine law. You see, every state of consciousness has a world attached to it. The moment you move into the state of wealth, wealth must find you. The moment you move into the state of love, love must express through you. The moment you move into the state of power, power begins to animate your life in ways you could never plan. You don't manifest a new reality by effort. You manifest it by alignment. Alignment with your inner truth. Alignment with your chosen assumption. Alignment with your desired end. Because creation is finished. Everything already exists in the infinite field of potential. You are not creating something from scratch. You are selecting. You are choosing. You are claiming what has always been yours in the unseen. Your job is not to make it happen. Your job is to assume the state in which it has already happened. Everything else is rearrangement. And that's the part most people cannot see. That when their world seems to fall apart, it is not punishment, it is reconfiguration. It is the dissolving of the old scaffolding to make room for the new structure. The life you desire already exists, but it cannot meet you in your current state of doubt, fear, and effort. It must meet you in the state of knowing that you are already it. Feel the truth of that. Feel the weight of it lift off your shoulders. You do not need to force. You do not need to beg. You do not need to suffer. You only need to assume and persist. Persist beyond what your senses show. Persist beyond the current bank statement. Persist beyond the silence, the delay, the doubt. Because all of these are shadows of the old state still echoing as it dies. And what comes after the death of the old? The birth of the new. If you can hold the new state, not just visit it for a few minutes in the morning, but live in it as if it were your home, then all things must conform. They must. For this is law. The law that governs all creation, the law that responds only to the vibration of being, not wishing, not trying, not striving, but being. And so I ask you now, who are you being? Are you being the version of you that has already achieved it? Are you walking like them, thinking like them, responding like them, or are you still reacting from the old state, secretly waiting for the world to change before you do? Because if you are waiting, you will be waiting forever. Your world is not the cause of your state. Your state is the cause of your world. So today, choose wisely. Choose consciously, choose boldly. The moment you assume, the universe responds. Let us go deeper now, deeper into the sacred mystery of self, where all manifestation begins. You are not a body hoping for better circumstances. You are not a mind calculating steps towards some faraway dream. You are awareness, pure, creative, limitless awareness. And this awareness has only one purpose: to express what it accepts as true. This is the hidden architecture of your world. This is the blueprint behind every moment you live. Now, ask yourself honestly, what truth have you accepted about yourself? Because that assumption is running everything. Not your willpower, not your strategy, not your discipline, but your assumption. You may think you're chasing success, but if you assume you're not worthy of it, success will run from you. You may think you're trying to attract love, but if you assume you're not lovable, love will mirror your belief. You may speak abundance, visualize abundance, affirm abundance, but if you assume scarcity, the universe must deliver scarcity, not to punish you, but to obey you. You are always manifesting. The question is, what are you assuming is real? And here's where the veil lifts. Once you see this clearly, you realize that your only true work is internal. Not to move the pieces outside, but to shift the position of your being within. When you change your state, the pieces move themselves. This is the great reversal that Neville Goddard taught. That you are not here to react to the world. You are here to give it its orders. You are not here to earn your blessings through labor. You are here to receive them through identity, because your consciousness, not your circumstances, is the womb of reality. When you assume the state of your wish fulfilled, you are planting a seed in that womb, a seed that cannot help but grow if you do not dig it up with doubt. And yet, this is where most falter. They say, I imagined it, why hasn't it happened yet? But that very question reveals the truth. They never assumed it had already happened. They visited the state, but they did not move in. They tried it on like a costume, but never wore it like a second skin. And the universe, always faithful, mirrored exactly that. You see, imagination is not for escape, it is for creation. Every time you feel the feeling of your wish fulfilled and persist in it, you are constructing the invisible scaffolding of your future. It is not a fantasy, it is a command. It is not pretending, it is proclaiming. I am this now. Not I will be, not I hope to be, but I am. Because when you say I am, you activate the creative power of the universe. You claim identity, and identity shapes experience. Let this truth sink into your bones. Whatever you consistently say after I am becomes your life. So say it with reverence. Say it with purpose. Say it like you're building your kingdom with each word. I am abundant. I am radiant. I am powerful. I am loved. I am whole. Say it, and more importantly, feel it. Because feeling is the secret. Feeling is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. If you do not feel it, you have not claimed it. And if you have not claimed it, the universe cannot deliver it. Not because it's cruel, not because you're unworthy, but because the outer must always match the inner and never the other way around. Your life is not a series of random events. It is a mirror of your consciousness, dressed in time and space. And what is the one thing you always carry with you? Your self-concept. This is the hidden script running beneath your every thought, your every reaction, your every choice. And the world is simply acting it out. So I ask you now, who are you inwardly assuming yourself to be? Because the moment you shift that assumption, not superficially, but deeply, your entire world begins to rearrange. Don't believe it because I say so. Prove it. Test it. Neville Goddard said it best. Experiment with it as you would a new diet. Live one day, just one, as the version of you who has already received it. Think from that version. Walk like them. Respond like them. Let their confidence guide your words, your posture, your energy, and watch what happens. You will begin to feel a subtle but profound shift, like the universe is listening in a new language, because it is. It is hearing your new assumption and moving mountains to match it. But hear me now. The universe doesn't respond to hope. It responds to certainty. It responds to being. So you must be it now. This is where the mind resists. This isn't real, it says. This is just imagination. But let me remind you, everything that is real now was once just imagination. Your job, your home, your relationships, even the phone in your hand, all began as a thought. Felt, believed, persisted in. This is the pattern. This is the process. And it has never changed. So why doubt it now? Simply because the seed hasn't sprouted yet. You don't dig up a seed every morning to see if it's growing. You trust the process. You water it with your faith. You feed it with your attention. And then, one day, it breaks through the surface. effortlessly, inevitably. So it is with your assumptions. If you persist, the manifestation is not a matter of if, but when. And when it arrives, you will not be surprised, because you've already been living it on the inside. This is the secret of all success, the secret behind all healing, the secret behind every breakthrough humanity has ever achieved. They saw it within, before the world saw it without. So I ask you again, what are you seeing within? What are you feeling when no one is watching? What are you assuming about who you are? Not with your words, but with your being, because that is what you're broadcasting, and that is what's coming back. You are not here to beg reality for scraps. You are here to declare what is yours by divine right. So stop trying to fix the outer world. Stop pleading with the universe, and start assuming the identity of the one who already has it. Because once you are it, the rest is inevitable.
Take a moment now. Close your eyes, not to escape the world, but to return to the real one, the world within. Because everything you're chasing out there, the love, the abundance, the peace, the power, it's not outside you. It's not waiting at the end of some road. It's already within, sealed behind the door of your self-concept. And that door opens only with assumption. Assume it, and it flows to you. Doubt it, and it hides from you. This is not punishment. This is law. A perfect, impersonal, unbreakable law that you will always express what you accept is true. So look at your life today, not with judgment, but with clarity. Everything you see is a mirror, and the reflection is your identity. You see, the law of assumption is not a technique. It's not a hack. It's not something you use to get what you want. It is the mechanism of reality itself. You are not working the law is working through you. Always, whether you're aware of it or not, whether you're assuming abundance or lack, confidence or insecurity, wholeness or brokenness. The law is not biased. It does not choose favorites. It simply delivers with exact precision what you persist in assuming as real. This is the great gift and the great responsibility, because once you know this truth, you can no longer blame the world. You can no longer play the victim. You can no longer outsource your power to chance, fate, or other people. You must return home to yourself. You must take the throne of your inner kingdom and rule, because your I am is the throne of your being. And whatever you seat on that throne, that becomes your world. So what have you crowned? Have you crowned fear? Then your kingdom must reflect anxiety, danger, confusion. Have you crowned love? Then your world must reflect harmony, connection, ease. Have you crowned lack? Then scarcity must obey. Have you crowned abundance? Then overflow must arrive. This is the law, not sometimes, not maybe, always. But here's where most people fall. They change their assumption once, but the old world is still echoing, and they panic. They say, see, nothing's happening. And so they return to the old state. They crown the old self again. And the universe, ever faithful, reflects it. Not because you're cursed, not because you did it wrong, but because you changed your order. You must persist. Just as the sun rises whether you see it or not, the law is working whether you believe it or not. So keep going. Because if you hold the state, truly hold it, your world must change. Not because of effort, not because of timing, but because the outer is compelled to conform to the inner. Do you hear this? It is compelled to conform. It cannot resist. It must obey. Because there is no power outside of consciousness. There is only reflection. So if you want a new reflection, you do not argue with a mirror. You do not shout at the glass. You change the face that's looking into it. And that face is the self you assume. Assume a new one now. The version of you who already has the thing. The version of you who knows it's done. The version of you who doesn't doubt, who doesn't fear, who doesn't chase, because they are it. Feel that version.
Step into them like a warm coat. Move through your day as them, not just when you're meditating, but when you're driving, when you're working, when you're washing dishes. Let your entire life become the stage on which that version walks. Because when you live from the end, not toward it, but from it, the middle must unfold. The bridge of incidents will carry you to your result, with perfect ease, with shocking elegance. People will call it coincidence, they'll call it luck, they'll call it destiny. But you'll know that it began the moment you dared to assume, the moment you stopped looking at what is and decided to dwell in what could be, until it became what is. This is the difference between wishing and knowing, between hoping and being. You don't need to believe in manifestation. You are manifesting already, every moment. The only question is, from what state? And if you don't like what you see around you, you don't fight the effects. You return to the cause, because all change begins within. Not with more effort, not with more hustle, not with more strategy, but with a silent shift in identity. It's not, how do I make it happen? It's, who must I be for this to be natural? And once that question is answered, you live from it, you rest in it, you trust it. Even when nothing seems to change, even when all signs scream the opposite, even when the world tempts you to react, you remain faithful. Because you know that reality has no choice but to mirror your dominant assumption. It is not a race. It is not a test. It is a return to truth. The truth that what you are being now is what the world will become next. So stop striving to make things happen. That comes from the old self, the one who believed they were separate from their desires. You're not. You never have been. The very desire you feel is proof that it already exists in the unseen. You couldn't long for something that wasn't already real on some level. And your job is not to create it from scratch. Your job is to become the version of you who already lives it. This is the key step most people miss. They say, when I have the money, I'll feel free. But they don't realize the freedom comes first. They say, when I meet someone, I'll feel loved. But they don't realize the love must be assumed first. They say, when I succeed, I'll be confident. But the confidence must be lived now, because feeling from the result is the only way to materialize it. This is what it means to live in the end. It means to bypass the senses and choose faith. It means to rest in the reality of your desire long before it shows up on the screen of space. It means to understand that what you assume as true becomes your life. So now the question becomes, are you brave enough to assume it's already done? Are you courageous enough to abandon your old identity, the one who doubts, who waits, who hesitates, and embody the version of you who no longer needs proof, because being is proof enough? You see, the secret is not to convince the world, but to convince yourself. Because once your assumption becomes natural, once it settles into your bones, the universe bends to your self-concept without resistance. Let that settle in for a moment. The entire structure of reality, the people, the events, the opportunities, the outcomes, all of it is plastic and obedient in the hands of your sustained inner state. This is why Neville Goddard taught, there is no one to change but self, because the outer world is never the problem. It's just a reflection of your current self-image. And yet, how many continue to argue with their reflections? How many try to fix circumstances, manipulate people, change external conditions, all while being the same within? It's like changing the colors on a mirror, hoping the face will change. But the image only shifts when you do. This is the radical responsibility and the radical freedom of understanding the law of assumption. You are not a victim. You are not at the mercy of luck, fate, timing, or the opinions of others. You are the creative center of your world, and your assumption is your creation. So what are you assuming moment by moment? When you wake up, do you assume possibility or resistance? Do you assume ease or struggle? Do you assume your desires are near or far? Because the world will always say yes to your assumption, not to your words, not to your hopes, not even to your effort, but to your identity. Because identity is magnetic. It pulls to itself everything in harmony with it and repels everything that contradicts it. And this is why transformation cannot happen from the outside in. It must begin with assumption. You must dare to believe in the reality of your wish fulfilled. Not as a fantasy, not as a game, not as a technique, but as your natural state. This is not pretending, this is alignment. This is not make-believe, this is faith, in its purest, most powerful form.
Faith, not as a hope for what may come, but as the quiet certainty that it already is. When you assume something is real and refuse to move from that inner position, the outer world must rearrange itself to accommodate it. It cannot help it. It is law. But most never persist long enough to see it happen. They plant the seed of a new assumption, then dig it up with doubt. They step into the feeling of the wish fulfilled, then jump out the moment the senses show them otherwise. But listen closely. Your senses are not your source of truth. They are echoes. They are shadows. They are delayed reflections of what you previously assumed. So don't look to the mirror for confirmation while you're still changing the face. Look within. Feel the new self. Live from the new self. Walk in the world as if the change has already happened. And the world will catch up. It always does, because the world is not outside of you. It is within you, in projected form. It is your assumptions, crystallized in time and space. It is your dominant inner state, slowed down into physical experience. This is the hidden rhythm behind every miracle, every manifestation, every breakthrough you've ever experienced. It didn't begin with effort. It began with identity. It began with a shift in being. And so I ask you again, who are you being? In the silence, in the solitude, in the moments no one sees. Because that, not what you say, not what you post, not what you plan, that is your true prayer. And prayer is assumption. True prayer is not pleading. True prayer is not begging a distant power. True prayer is assuming the state of the wish fulfilled and walking in it, breathing in it, resting in it, until it becomes the only natural thing. It is becoming so convinced, so identified, so fused with your desire that the world has no choice but to mirror it. This is the art. This is the path. This is the truth that sets you free.
So stop waiting. Stop postponing your joy until it arrives. because it is waiting for you to become the version of yourself who already has it. Feel that version now. Feel their posture, feel their voice, feel their clarity, feel their peace, feel their ease. Let that version rise in you and make that feeling your home. And here's the final secret. Naturalness is the key. Neville Goddard said, "That which feels natural to you will be your experience." So if wealth still feels unnatural, it will remain distant. If love still feels unfamiliar, it will remain inconsistent. If success still feels foreign, it will remain fleeting. Your only true work is to make the desired state feel natural. And that happens through repetition, through persistence, through identity, not through hustle, not through force, not through waiting, but through being. Because once it feels natural, once it feels like home, your outer world has no choice but to reflect it. Not because it loves you, not because it rewards effort, but because it cannot resist your assumption. The mirror can only echo what you are. So assume wisely, assume boldly, assume joyfully, and persist until the world bends. Because it will, it always has, and it always will. Let this be the moment everything changes. Not because you've learned something new, but because you've remembered what you already knew. Deep within, that you were never broken, you were never lacking, you were never separate from what you desired. You were simply living under an assumption that no longer serves who you truly are. And now that you see it, you can change it. Instantly, permanently, completely. Not by effort, but by identity. Because the truth is, you do not become something new. You return to what has always been true, that you are the operant power. You are the creator. You are the cause. You are the one who speaks reality into being. Not with force, but with assumption. So step back from the illusion that you need more time, more proof, more permission. You don't. You only need one thing: to accept that it is done. Now, right here, in this moment. Feel what it's like to let go of striving, to stop trying to fix the outside, to stop waiting for circumstances to validate your power. Feel what it's like to know that you're already it, the one who is worthy, the one who is loved, the one who is successful, the one who is free. Let this new identity settle into your nervous system. Let it flow through your breath. Let it animate your presence, and then simply live from it. Not to make things happen, but because this is who you are now. You don't chase what you already are. You don't fight for what's already yours. You simply allow it to flow from you, naturally, inevitably. And as you do, the world shifts. Not because you manipulated it, not because you earned it, but because you aligned with it. This is the quiet power of assumption. It doesn't need noise. It doesn't need proof. It doesn't need applause. It just is. And when you live from that place, your life becomes an unfolding miracle. Doors open, people arrive, ideas land, breakthroughs appear, all without effort, because your world has no choice. It must match your state. So make your state sacred. Treat your assumptions as divine instructions, because they are. You are giving orders to your universe every moment, not with your words, but with your identity. So walk in the identity of the one who already has it. Smile like them, breathe like them, decide like them, love like them, because the version of you who already lives the life you desire is you, now. You just haven't been assuming it. But today you do. Today, you assume not from wishful thinking, but from certainty. You no longer ask, when will it happen? Because you've stopped living in time. You now live in state. You don't ask, how will it come? Because you've stopped needing control. You now trust law. You don't ask, is it working? Because you've stopped needing signs. You now trust self. This is what it means to become a conscious creator. You don't beg, you don't try, you be. And from that being, all things arise. Because consciousness is the only cause. It always has been. The people you meet, the things you touch, the places you go, they are not random. They are reflections. So don't seek them. Assume the state that draws them. Because when you assume a new identity and live from it, the bridge of incidents will rise to meet you. The how will handle itself. It always does. So relax. Let go of the chase. Let go of the grasping. Let go of the inner fight. You were never meant to strive your way into your destiny. You are meant to assume your way into alignment. And in alignment, all things flow. All things are added. All things arrive. All things unfold. Not because you're lucky, not because you're special, but because you chose to live from a higher truth. The truth that says, I am the operant power. My world is myself pushed out. There is nothing to change but self. And when you embrace that truth, your entire life becomes a living testimony of it. Not just in theory, not just in spirit, but in form, in results, in real tangible shifts that leave people wondering, how did you do it? And you'll smile, not with arrogance, but with knowing. Because it was never about doing, it was always about being. It was never about forcing, it was always about assuming. It was never about the world changing first, it was always about you choosing first and letting the world follow. So let this be your declaration. From this day forward, I assume the highest within me. I assume the truth of my desire fulfilled. I assume the power of my I am, and I live from it, faithfully, joyfully, unshakably. Not to earn my desires, not to chase them, but to receive them as reflections of my inner state. This is the way, this is the law, this is the truth, and this truth has made you free. So go now. Live, not from memory, but from vision. Live, not from fear, but from certainty. Live not from effort, but from assumption. The assumption that you already are what you wish to be. The assumption that everything is working through you. The assumption that you are the author, the source, the center. And let every moment be a demonstration of that truth. Let every breath be a prayer. Let every step be a declaration. Let every word echo your new identity. Because from this moment forward, you don't chase power. You don't wait for power. You don't ask for power. You are the power. You always have been. You always will be. And now you remember. And that is enough.